Hello everyone. I sincerely wish you all good health and everlasting peace in life. But behind every smile, there lies a hidden storm. The truth has finally surfaced. The one who harmed Tu Diem has been unmasked. And now, a single question lingers like a whisper in the wind. Will Toan let his heart be consumed by revenge, or will he choose the rare strength of forgiveness? The night was heavy with silence, yet Toan's heart beat louder than the storm outside. For months, he had searched in pain and desperation, not only for Tu Diem but for the truth that lay hidden behind her suffering. Now the truth stood before him, raw and undeniable. The very hand that had pushed Tu Diem into darkness had finally been exposed. Tu Diem, fragile but braver than ever, told her story in broken words, her eyes filled with both fear and relief. Each sentence was like a knife piercing Toan's chest. He clenched his fists, feeling the weight of rage pressing against his veins. The betrayal came not from a stranger, but from someone close, someone he had once trusted. Memories of Diem's tears, her hunger, her endless nights wandering alone, all crashed into him like waves. His love wanted justice, his heart demanded punishment. Yet when he looked at Diem, her trembling hands holding on to his sleeve, he felt another power stronger than revenge. She whispered, almost like a plea, "Toan, don't let anger destroy you. I only wish for peace." Toan's soul battled within. In front of him was the choice every wounded heart must face: to let hatred consume, or to let love heal. He walked closer to the one who had harmed Diem, his eyes sharp, his silence heavier than words. Everyone expected his fury, but instead, he spoke softly, his voice trembling yet steady. "You cannot erase what you did, but I will not stain my hands with the same cruelty. The punishment you fear will come from the truth itself, not from me."
The room was stunned. Tu Diem's eyes welled with tears. This was the man she had believed in, the man whose heart had carried her through storms. Toan chose forgiveness, not because the pain was small, but because his love for Diem was greater than his hatred. That night, the storm outside slowly faded, just as the storm within Toan's heart found its calm. The past could not be undone, but their future was now free of the chains of vengeance.
Toan stood still in the dim light of his office, the truth echoing in his heart like a storm that refused to pass. The betrayal was no longer a shadow but a face he could name. The one who had harmed Tu Diem, the one who had caused her endless suffering, was finally exposed. Every instinct in him screamed for revenge, to make that person taste the pain they had inflicted. Yet, as he closed his eyes, images of Tu Diem appeared before him. Her quiet strength, her unspoken forgiveness, the way she carried her pain without bitterness, softened the fury in his chest. Toan realized that revenge would only chain him to the darkness that had already stolen too much from them both. The next day, he met Tu Diem in the garden. She was tending to a small flower patch, her hands fragile but determined, as if giving life to the earth helped her heal the wounds within. He walked toward her slowly, his voice low but steady. "Diem, I know who it was. I could destroy them, but tell me, do you want that?" Tu Diem lifted her gaze, her eyes shining not with anger, but with quiet sorrow. She shook her head gently. "Toan, revenge will not heal me. It will not bring back what I lost. What I want is peace. What I want is for us to move forward, not backward." Her words struck him harder than any enemy ever could. He realized that the greatest strength was not in striking back but in choosing to let go. And in that moment, Toan made a decision not out of weakness, but out of love. He reached for her hand, holding it with a firmness that promised safety. "Then I will honor your wish. No revenge. only us, and the future we will build together. The storm within him began to settle. He understood now that forgiveness was not forgetting the wound, it was refusing to let the wound define their lives. But still, deep inside, a quiet question lingered. If the one who harmed Tu Diem tried again, would he be able to remain merciful? As the truth unraveled, Toan felt his heart torn between two paths: justice and mercy. The one who had caused Tu Diem's pain stood before him, trembling, stripped of every mask of deceit. For so long, Toan had dreamt of this moment, believing that only revenge could ease the scars left on Tu Diem's soul. But now, as he looked into her eyes, filled not with hatred but with quiet sorrow, he realized that vengeance might only deepen their wounds. Diem's voice, soft yet steady, broke the silence. "Toan, I don't want more hatred. What I need is peace." Her words pierced through the storm in his chest. He saw the strength she carried, the courage to forgive when forgiveness seemed impossible. It was not weakness, but the purest form of resilience. Toan lowered his gaze, struggling with the weight of choice. His fists, once clenched with fury, slowly opened. The desire to protect Diem overpowered his thirst for retribution. Instead of striking back, he spoke with firm resolve. "You can no longer harm her. From now on, her life is mine to protect." The one who had harmed Diem collapsed, overwhelmed by shame. Toan did not forgive out of pity, but because he chose a higher path, one that placed Diem's healing above his anger. Together, Toan and Diem walked away, their steps carrying them toward a future not built on vengeance, but on hope. For in that moment, Toan understood. The greatest revenge was not destruction, it was building a life so strong, so full of love, that no enemy could ever break it again. Toan stood at the edge of the balcony, the night breeze brushing against his face. Below him, the city lights flickered like countless unspoken promises, yet his heart was heavier than ever. He had uncovered the truth, the betrayal, the schemes, the deliberate cruelty that had nearly destroyed Tu Diem. The person behind it was closer than he had ever imagined, a name he had once trusted, a shadow that had moved silently in his own world. Inside the house, Tu Diem sat quietly, her delicate hands resting on her lap. Though her scars were fading, Toan could still see the traces of pain in her eyes. Every time he looked at her, his chest tightened with both love and fury. Love for the woman who had taught him what it meant to protect, and fury at the one who had dared to harm her. When Toan finally returned inside, Tu Diem lifted her gaze. "You know the truth now, don't you?" Her voice trembled, not out of fear, but out of deep sorrow. "Yes," Toan replied, his tone steady but sharp. "I know who tried to destroy you, and I cannot forgive them easily." Tu Diem shook her head softly. "Revenge will only create more pain. If you choose that path, it will consume you and us. I don't want to see the man I love darkened by hatred." Her words cut through him like a blade. Toan clenched his fists, battling the storm within. He wanted justice, yet he feared losing the gentle warmth that Diem brought into his life. For a long moment, silence filled the room, broken only by the distant hum of the city. Finally, Toan stepped closer, kneeling in front of her. "Then tell me what I should do. How do I protect you? How do I protect us, without letting my anger destroy everything?" Tu Diem placed her hand over his heart, her touch trembling but filled with strength. "Protect me with your love, not with vengeance. The truth has already been revealed. Let the world see who they really are, and let justice come naturally. But promise me you will not lose yourself." Life often tests us in ways we least expect. The story of Toan and Tu Diem is not only about love, but also about betrayal, forgiveness, and the courage to move forward despite the wounds of the past. When the one who harmed Tu Diem was finally exposed, Toan stood at a crossroads. He had the power to seek revenge or to choose forgiveness. His decision revealed a truth that many of us must one day face. Holding on to anger only deepens our own suffering, while forgiveness allows us to heal. Tu Diem's pain was real, and Toan's anger was justified. But by choosing to protect her future, instead of dwelling on revenge, he showed that love grows stronger when it is rooted in compassion, not vengeance. Sometimes, the greatest victory is not in punishing those who hurt us, but in proving that they cannot destroy our spirit. The lesson here is simple, yet profound. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting, nor does it excuse cruelty. It means freeing ourselves from the chains of hatred and choosing peace over bitterness. In love, as in life, what matters most is not the weight of our scars, but the strength with which we rise above them. In the journey of Toan and Tu Diem, we learn that love is not only about passion, but also about resilience. True love is tested when challenges come, and its worth is revealed in moments of pain. Toan had every reason to fight back against those who harmed Tu Diem, but he realized that revenge only multiplies wounds. Forgiveness, though difficult, heals both the victim and the one who forgives. Tu Diem, who endured so much suffering, also teaches us the meaning of courage. Despite being betrayed, abandoned, and treated unfairly, she did not let hatred consume her heart. She chose to trust again, to open herself to love once more, and to accept the protection of Toan. Her choice reflects a profound truth. No matter how broken we are, love has the power to restore us. The story reminds us that in life, we all face betrayal, loss, and injustice. But the question is not whether pain will come, it surely will. The real question is how we respond to it. Do we let it harden us, or do we transform it into strength and compassion? Toan chose compassion, and through that choice, he protected the woman he loved and found peace for himself. In the end, the lesson is clear. Forgiveness is not weakness, and love is not fragile. They are the strongest forces that guide us through darkness. When we forgive, we are free. When we love, we are alive.